I think there's two pertinent questions of media that will never go away. The first one is, what's the fat guy's name from Cheers? The second one is, what is the definitive list of Miyazaki films? You won't find out anywhere else except for me and anyone who works at JB Hi-Fi. They will spend half a day talking about the nuances, even if they get fired and have to be dragged away by that scared security guard at the front. So I guess in a way, this is a twofer. One, you get a ranking of Miyazaki films. Two, JB Hi-Fi virtual experience. Looks like their website's not crap for once. Well, obviously this list is going to be in descending order, and number 11, just to trigger the hipsters watching, Princess Mononoke. Oh no, your princess in life shattered at the bottom. No, she's the bravest one. Sucked in. I'm putting her down there because there's another film of his that's pretty much exactly the same, but kind of reminds me of A Bug's Life. Also, even if I wasn't putting it there just to trigger you, it'd still be in the bottom half. I don't get why everyone was so enamored by that. What? Because there was a pig king? There's a lot of whimsical shit in Miyazaki. Number 10, Castle of Cagliostro, or whatever it's called, and it's pretty much there because you can't pronounce it. The other reason that it's there is I haven't seen it because every time I look at the animation, it's just too old. It's part of that period of anime where you look at it and you think, is this Samurai Pizza Cats or not? The other reason it gets a low ranking is I don't think that that's available anywhere except on Qantas flights. And when you're on that Qantas flight, they only give you that option or one about some blonde princess that's really angry that she can't go back to her homeland. Now that I think about it, it might just be the same film. I don't know, I haven't seen it. That's why it gets number 10, and that's why a movie that I have seen is worse. Number 9, Wind Rises, and I'm giving it a low ranking for the same reason that I would give Toy Story 4 a low ranking, albeit that would be a much shorter list. The reason? I don't go to kids' films to cry, man. Do you remember seeing that and there was not a dry eye in the cinema? There's only two explanations for that. Either the cinema that I went to is directly above an Italian restaurant and they were chopping a lot of onions, or it's sadder when someone who's animated gets tuberculosis, spoiler alert. Also, what was that moral? So you see, your family will die in a nuclear explosion and then the love of your life will die early. And the career that you devoted your entire life to will be completely redundant. And thus ends my career. Damn you, Japanese Colonel Sanders! Number 8, Poco Rosso. I'm giving it a low mark for the same reason that Miyazaki gave it a low mark, which is, quote, have you seen the documentary? Oh, a very silly film. A pig that has glasses. What was I thinking? Now, a pig king. That makes sense. I don't know why he was so down on that film, but just because he's such a genius, I can't not disagree with that guy. He made Spirited Away. It's an 8. Number 7, Laputa Castle in the Sky. Yeah, I get it. The robot was misunderstood. But if I want to see misunderstood robots, I'll watch AI. Everyone liked the fact that he was a giant and when he walked, it sounded like a cat was entering a house. I didn't. I hate it when cats enter houses. I'd rather that they didn't have the little bell around their neck and kill heaps of native wildlife just to not piss me off. And that's what that entire movie was. Just an ASMR sound of that. Number 6, and how number 6 is this film? I'm sure that if you looked at every ranking list on earth of Miyazaki's film, number 6 would always be Howl's Moving Castle. Now, to give him his dues, because he clearly hasn't had enough dues given to him, seeing as he has an entire theme park devoted to him, his number 6 is still better than Citizen Kane. But the reason that it is number 6 is because we get it, dude. You like castles, and you especially like it if they're whimsical, and I do too as a kid. But then when I grew up and went to Scotland, I realised, oh, they're all inanimate. And that's why you're at number 6, Howl's Moving Castle, because unlike all of Miyazaki's other works, you're not a documentary. Number 5, Ponyo. I have the same opinion of that film of every mum who has ever walked in on it halfway through while the kids are watching it in the daycare centre. Ah, that's nice. Is there anything else that you could say to that film? It should just have that on the DVD cover. Just a shot of a mum going, ah. There was also another tidbit in that film that always made me reanimate my disbelief, and it wasn't the fact that the goldfish was talking. It wasn't the fact that a goldfish was the daughter of Poseidon or whatever. It was the fact that she liked ham. Don't feed your goldfish ham. Number 4, Kikis delivery service. If you could trade lives with any of Miyazaki's characters, and let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on this, surely it'd be that girl who gets to be an Uber Eats driver with a broomstick. You'd make so much more money. And also, if you lived in an apartment, there'd never be that, yeah, what entrance side are you on? Do you see a road or a post office? Just a lot of, where's my pad thai? What the fuck? I asked for no chili! Also, I just really liked the aesthetic of that town. It was pretty much Dubrovnik if it had slightly less bakeries. Number 3, and Spirited Away always has to be in the top 3, doesn't it? And that's why it is at number 3. And the reason I think it always wins either bronze, silver, or gold is because the entire world was introduced to Miyazaki through that film. I'm sure even kids in Japan didn't know who he was until then. And also, what was with this trend that all the hipster publications started publishing that, did you know that it's actually based on child prostitution? Who started that? I'm looking at you, Newtown. It's so something that starts at a party with a bunch of milk crates, and hipsters are so stupid they never look anything up, and they have these 6 facts that just circulate around. Have you ever seen how chicken McNuggets are made? Yuck. There's actually no clocks in Vegas casinos. How f***ed is that? Eating off a wooden chopping board is actually really bad for you. Not that anyone on planet Earth does that, but just in case you're thinking about it. And then mixed into that rotation, guess what Spirited Away was a metaphor for? It wasn't a metaphor for anything, it was just an acid trip, and good. There are movies that you don't have to dissect with your film degree from TAFE. Number 2, and can you like this video if you agree, Nausicaa Valley of the Wind does not get its dues. What was not to like about that film? It was Starship Troopers meets Fern Gully with Blade Runner's soundtrack. Well, the offshoots of it anyway. Also, how everyone's always arguing what's the most likely dystopia out of Brave New World in 1984, move over. We have a new contender. I'm pretty sure it's going to be that film. The West would have eaten everything else, and because you just hear this topic on Top 40 radio all the time, people are always saying that we're going to eat bugs once cows are wiped out. Yuck, I'm not going to do that. They're just going to grow way bigger, and the only thing that'll exist is that small little Eevee on her shoulder. What is with so many animes having one character that sits on the shoulder and makes this sound? Is that like a law in Japan? And finally, number 1, or as the prosecution lawyer in ICAC for Gladys Berejiklian would say, the numero uno. Come on. Totoro. Not the hipster's choice, the normie choice. But like in all media, normies have it right. Foo Fighters are the best band of all time. Bondi is the only beach in Sydney. That movie, The Skyscraper, is an acceptable birthday present. And of course, Totoro is the best Miyazaki film because it wasn't challenging in any way. It just keeps melding into your childhood like a well-folded chocolate cake. It's the fairy bread of films. Totoro sort of reminds me of Snorlax, and he was my favourite Pokemon. And of course, it taught me everything that I know about Japan. I swear that if you ask a Japanese person, how did you go to school? Right, in a flying cat, of course. Come on! If there's any country on Earth where that is likely to be, it's Japan. Thank God those magical Japanese cat buses haven't been introduced as a feral pest into Australia, because there would be no cassowaries left. With a few exceptions of Miyazaki's work, I'm with the 5-year-olds on this one. The nice innocent characters that are just giant Michelin Man plush toy raccoons walking around. Give me more of that. And give me a like if you agreed with this list wholeheartedly. Not one was out of whack. Actually, wait, that's a really bad way to do this. Like this video if you disagree with it at all. Subscribe so you don't miss our next movie tier list, which will be ranking all the Cool Runnings films. From 1 to 2. I think there's 1. We have fun here, don't we, guys? Subscribe.
Please share and comment below. Comment.